technically not to the minute, but I've very recently been made aware of some what can be potentially life-changing news if you're looking to move to Russia. So I've just released a video, just giving you a brief outline of what's happened. The president has signed into law a decree today, effective immediately, regarding temporary residency. So if you are looking to emigrate to Russia, you may or may not know, but you need to go through certain steps, and the first part of that is to apply for temporary residency, which is a 3-year visa. Part of that process, and it is only part of that process, is the language test, which is my biggest stumbling block. I'm not going to lie, it's been challenging learning the language, or trying to learn the language. So this new decree, signed into law today, negates that. So there will be a list of countries produced, which hasn't been released yet, but it looks like it's being released on the 1st of September, that will cover countries that, shall we say, have a neoliberal slant. I'll call it woke. And if you are in one of these countries and you share traditional Russian values of family and attitude, then the language test will be waived, and you won't need to take it, effectively. Now, it is a massive, into Russian law, this decree. We have got to see, obviously, the list of countries, but I wouldn't be at all surprised if it is mostly from the West, and this potentially will give you the option to emigrate to Russia without having to pass the language test, which for many people, myself included, is a massive stumbling block. So yeah, like I say, I've just done a 5-minute video, which I've uploaded just to sort of get the news out. You need to go on the government website in Russia to check out the decree. We're going to be reading through it chapter and verse to see how it stands. But like I say, at the moment, the caveat seems to be that the list of countries hasn't been released yet, so that could well be coming on the 1st of September. So yeah, like I say, gone live again today. Wasn't expecting to, but after hearing this news, somebody passed this through to me. I'm not going to take the credit and say, look what I found. Absolutely not. Someone has forwarded this through to me, and I really want to say a huge thank you to them for letting me know as soon as they found out about it. I really appreciate the fact that they've done that. They've actually not only found out this information and sent it to me, but they've actually thought about me and my circumstance to do that in the first place. So I said I wouldn't mention your name, but you know who you are. Thank you. Really do mean that. Thank you very much. So here we are. Huge news, massive news. Still digesting it, still rattling it around in my head. Obviously, the pessimistic side of me is working overtime. Oh, it won't include your country. Oh, people of your age won't be included. Oh, you've got to have X amount in the bank. Oh, all of these things that are rattling around. So we need to obviously see the full decree, digest it and understand it. And obviously that is just part of applying for temporary residency in Russia. That isn't the only thing. You also need to pass medical exams. You would then need to report your income every year. I'm trying to think what else it is for temporary residency. Brain's gone blank because it's rattling around with too much information. There's something else as well that you have to deal with. Hang on a minute. Wife, for TRP you have to pass initially language test, medical, and what else was it? Oh, police check, isn't it? Yeah, and there you go, police check. It's come to me eventually. Oh my God, brain's fried today. It was fried last night. This morning I tried to unfry it, that didn't work, and now it's still fried. even more so. So probably have a bit of a sleepless night tonight, thinking about obviously the news that has come out today. Hi from Moscow City. Hi, new Putin's decree. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I mean, like I say, I'm still trying to digest it. It is for people like me, it could be, you know, literally life changing. Literally life changing. It could be a massive thing, because the language test part of applying for temporary residency is a major barrier to an awful lot of Westerners. The Cyrillic alphabet is incredibly challenging for most Westerners. The younger ones not so much, but us old folk, when you're used to, you know, 55 odd years of seeing the letter C and understanding it's a letter C, and then coming to Russia and finding out here it's actually the letter S, and that's the tip of the iceberg. It really does make learning the language extremely challenging. So if you can apply to emigrate to Russia without having to pass the language test, that's a huge step. That's a huge step. So like I say, you know, if that's your goal, if that's something you're interested in, you're going to need to do a bit of homework. You know, I'm just a guy on YouTube, so don't take my word for it. Do a bit of research, but the information is there. We're digesting it ourselves. Certainly if I find out more information, I will put it in a live stream or maybe another video or maybe both. More than happy to answer any questions if I can. So if you're part of my Telegram group, you can fire me a question on there. If you're not, then please join it and fire me a question. Failing that, you can email me, and I'll try and help in any way I can. I'm not going to do all the research for you. I never do on any subject. Anything I talk about, I expect people to do their own research. It's the best way, and it's the only way that you'll understand what's going on. There's no point in somebody just giving you all the answers. I don't do that with my own children. I'm certainly not going to do it with you guys. But as the title says on this thumbnail, breaking news. Vladimir Putin has signed a decree into Russian law, effective immediately, that people emigrating to Russia may not need to take the language test to apply for a temporary residency. Yeah, we've still got to see, like I say, as I keep saying, we've still got to see the list of countries, which I understand is the 1st of September. That list will be released. But yeah, let's hope that the countries that are relevant to us, shall we say, are on that list. The decree does say that it's for people that share traditional Russian values. So hopefully I'll fall into that category, and it also states that these people are trying to escape a country, not escape maybe, but leave a country where those values seem to be disappearing or slipping, from maybe a neoliberal perspective. Woke, let's call it woke for what it is. You know, let's not be PC. So, yeah, like I say, thought I'd jump on a live and see what it's all about. Russian language test. Relax, take it easy. Yeah, easy for you to say, Alexei. I guess by your name you probably speak fluent Russian. Try speaking English all your life and then learning Russian. Or better still, just try learning Russian if you don't speak it. Challenging. So yeah, it's a big deal for me. It will be a big deal for a lot of people. I've been messaged many times by people asking about the language test and how difficult it is. Yeah, it's it's potentially huge news. So I'm more than happy to take questions on this live stream about that. It is in the title, so feel free to ask me anything you like, and I certainly am more than happy to talk about my peaches. So Lexi, I have another question about your life. Are the peaches ripe? Well, if you were watching a live stream this morning, you would know the answer to that. Yes, they are. They are not fully ripe, not as in, super juicy, soft, really soft. But I can walk up to the tree now and eat one straight off the tree. They're really lovely. But a few more days will finish them off. They'll be gorgeous. Lots of water now for the tree. Make sure it's got plenty of water, because obviously ripening peaches will require a lot of water, or a lot of moisture anyway. So yeah, we'll be watering the tree a lot. But yeah, the peaches are amazing here, absolutely gorgeous. So thanks for asking. Yeah, today what have I been doing? Went swimming, hence the reason I ended the live stream this morning. The wife finally had enough of me talking, and just walked past in a bikini, said, "I'm going swimming, you're still rabbiting." So so that prompted me to end the live stream and go swimming, which we did, which was very enjoyable. But that's not really breaking news, because we do that every day. Then we went to the post office, collected a letter, went to see some friends, came home, started talking about dinner. It's always a topic. I'm always thinking about food, preparing food, eating food, or getting over eating food, or thinking about buying food. It tends to be food, or swimming pool, or peaches. But then obviously I got this message from somebody that I'm very, very grateful to, regarding the language test. So yeah, Tatiana, make your wife speak only Russian to you. This way you'll speak Russian quickly. Or I'll have a very, very peaceful life. Gee, that's a tough one. Yeah, no, she'd kill me. Yeah. The problem I have with my wife, and I love her to pieces, but she is extremely eloquent with the Russian language, and her pronunciation of the language is extremely accurate. And that's a problem for somebody learning a language straight away. We're really not focused on pronunciation. We're just trying to get the basic understanding of rolling the R's and, you know, saying something like Zdravstvuyte, which took me weeks just to get to that level. And I know I still butchered it, but it took me weeks just to be able to wrap my head around that. It took me a long, long time to actually be able to separate the words when people were speaking. It just sounded like machine gun fire, and I couldn't pick out individual words. So, you know, it's a very difficult language. And where I try and pick it up from my wife, it's incredibly difficult, because one, she speaks very eloquently. She's very precise on her pronunciation. And quite often she'll say something that I just won't get, I won't catch it. Somebody else will say it and I will. You know, they might say it in a more slang kind of way, and I'll catch it. So yeah, it doesn't really help me, and obviously because it's my wife, you know, she probably senses my frustration, and yeah, it's challenging. You know, I know my limitations. There are things I'm good at. I'm good with people. You know, I think I have very good people skills. I'm good at problem solving. I'm good with my hands. But academic stuff, book reading and stuff like that was never something that interested me. And unfortunately, if things don't interest me, I tend not to take interest in them. So yeah, it's challenging for me having to study for things like that. Lots of Russian, thank you. I've no idea what it says, but cheers. Frankly speaking, it didn't work with my husband's English. The trouble I find is that English is an absolute, it's a child's language compared to Russian. You know, if you're English, you won't get that. But compared to Russian, it's a child's language. It really is a child's language. Ivan, I'm sorry, I do not speak Russian, so I can't, you know, I can read some of what you're saying, but I have no idea what it means. Yeah. I might have to watch the replay and see what you're saying. Hello from Montana. Hi. Cowboy country, isn't it? Montana? Don't know. I'm not good on my American history / geography, but yeah. Watch Russian movies with English subtitles. Yes. Yeah. Again, it involves reading. So the fact that they're on a screen instead of a book. Yeah. I know a lot of people use that as a good way of learning languages. You know, they'll watch it and then have the subtitles and put it together. But what I've noticed is the translations, and certainly friends of mine have told me this when they watch my videos and translate them into Russian. They say that quite often it's only the fact that they know me that they can understand what's being said, because the translation doesn't translate. And that's the difficulty, I think, with Russian and English. The alphabets are completely different, so the translations sometimes can be way off. So I don't know if it would be a help or more of a hindrance, to be honest. Jen, yes, for sure. Yeah, I got something right. Montana is cowboy country. Moz Films, okay. Interesting, okay. What is that on? Is that on Russian TV or is it on the internet? Or what is that one? Please let me know. But yeah, if you just join the stream, just to reiterate the point of the stream, and that is to talk about the Russian language test, which a decree has been signed into law today, negating the need for it for people from particular countries, of which a list will be published soon. So yeah, very, very interesting stuff, especially for me, very much so. So fingers crossed, I shall see my country listed there, and maybe not having to take the language test will be, yeah, pretty awesome, pretty awesome. So lovely evening here. I mean, it looks pretty much like it did this morning, to be fair. Let's have a quick look. There we go. As you can see, we're heading into the evening. It's 20 to 7 in the evening here, 20 to 5 in the UK. So yeah, it's been a lovely day. It's been very hot, but there has been a good breeze, and the breeze has died right down now. So the wife's just been swimming again. I'm very tempted to go and try it out, but I will be checking in with her first to see if it's cold or not. Yeah, I know. It's a channel on YouTube showing Russian movies with English subtitles. Okay, Moz Films. Let me just screenshot. So I shall take a look at that. Thanks, one. I'll have a look at that, see if it's any use to me at all. Do you communicate with your neighbours? Yep, we sure do. It's a very Russian thing. We swap food. Our neighbours across the back made us a cake the other day, and the neighbours there gave us some cherries. The neighbours there gave us walnuts and hazelnuts. So yeah, it's a very normal thing, and we share food as well. You know, if we buy a watermelon, the watermelons out here are massive, they're huge, so you can't possibly eat a whole one. So we usually cut it in half and then, you know, share it with the neighbours, or with friends. So yeah, very common to do that sort of thing. YouTube, yeah, okay, yeah, I read it as YouTube once, so don't worry, you don't need to correct it. Show the view from your window. Which window? Which window would you like to see a view from? I'm sat on the terrace at the moment. Let me spin you around. So that is our terrace, our downstairs terrace, anyway, and that's the view looking over the pool. In there is the sauna. If you haven't seen my channel, have a look. Sauna build is underway. So if that's the window you're talking about, if not, let me know. Front of the house, side of the house, back of the house. What do you want to see? What is the temperature in your settlement today? I think it was about 32, maybe 34 degrees. but hot. But luckily there was a nice breeze. So although it was very hot, the breeze, yeah, made it, you know, more than bearable, which it always is here anyway. It's not. I haven't come across a, oh my god, cat being an idiot. I haven't come across temperatures here yet that, you know, are unbearable by any stretch. It's just a lovely climate. Oh, nice. I thought it was an apartment. Yeah. Yeah, no, we own a property. We own a house, as you can see, with a pool, a demented cat. Well, one of 3 demented cats. Do I often go to a napper, or do we often go to a napper? Once or twice a week, I suppose. Sometimes it's just, you know, to go to a particular shop, or maybe go to the government building for something, drop the daughter off to friends, or, you know, just go for a walk or go and see friends. But yeah, I would say as an average once or twice a week, sometimes more, sometimes a little bit less. But lovely resort, beautiful town. I need to be doing some live streams from the seafront down there, because, you know, there's not many people English speaking, doing YouTube channel from this area. So, you know, traditionally it's Moscow region or St. Petersburg. Seems to be where most YouTubers congregate from, you know. But then most people from the UK and the US, you know, your first thought of Russia is Moscow. So I guess, you know, you put that in the search engine, and that's what you get. How long you are in Russia? How long have I been in Russia, or how long am I in Russia this time? So I am on a 1-year family visa. So at the moment, I have to return to the UK once a year to renew my visa. I was in the UK in May, visa until next year, summer next year. So I'm certainly here. This is my home. This is where we live. In the summer months, it's wonderful here, and the summer is very long, very long. So, as I said, if you're new to the stream, I've launched this live stream just to let you know about the temporary residence permit and the need, or the lack of need, based on a decree that was signed into law today, for foreign nationals of certain countries not needing to take the language test. So if you've got any questions about that, please feel free to hit me up, send me a message, join my Telegram group, send me an email. If you've got any questions about anything else, feel free, you know, whether it's growing stuff or cooking or eating or businesses or the price of fish, or I don't know the price of fish, don't ask me that. But yeah, anything you want to know. If you're curious about Russia, and certainly this region I'm in is just outside a resort town called Anapa, which is on the coast of the Black Sea, 60 miles along the coast from Crimea on the Kerch Bridge. And yeah, just across the water from Turkey, and about 300 kilometres from Sochi. So I'll give you an idea geographically where we are. A lot of Russians dreaming to relocate to UK, and you are living in Russia. Life paradoxes. I'll tell you why, Andre. I assume it's an Andre. I'm terrible with names. Western media has done an extremely good job of telling Russians how wonderful the UK is. And I'll tell you that is a fact, because they've done an extremely good job of telling UK citizens how good the UK is and how lucky we are to live in the UK. And basically the rest of the world is shit, but the UK is this amazing place and we're so lucky. And that's how all citizens of the UK are brought up. That's what you believe. And that's what I believed until I came to Russia in October 2021, and had my world completely turned upside down, and realised that not only is Russia a beautiful country and vast, but the people are absolutely just amazing, just so welcoming. It's incredibly humbling. I have been, brought to tears at times with people's warmth and generosity towards me, especially given the current situation. And it's quite humbling, and at times you struggle with it. I certainly have. So yeah, England has definitely been made to be this wonderful, magical, mystical place, and to a degree, part of that is true. If you go to England as a tourist, you will probably view it like that, because you will be going as a tourist, doing the tourist things. But for everyday living, most people in England will tell you it is not what it's purported to be. It's got a high crime rate now, which seems to be growing almost on a daily basis. Our National Health Service, the NHS, which is, supposed to be the best in the world, is massively underfunded, and it is bursting at the seams. Waiting to see doctors is weeks, if not months. And I can tell you that my experience of coming to Russia really just was so disorientating because of what I was led to believe about England and Russia. And I've found, especially the healthcare, especially the food, especially the attitude, especially the level of respect, especially the lack of crime, especially the unemployment level, which is next to zero, especially the homeless level, which is zero. Again, I'm speaking in my region, but I found all of these things to be just not what I was expecting. Everything seems to be better. So, like I say, if you're in the UK, that's your view, it's going to shock you. And, I hope Russians see this as well. I don't want Russians to believe that I don't want them to believe that their country is rubbish, according to Western media. I don't want them to think that England is some mystical, wonderful place, or the West is something wonderful. It isn't. I really want Russians to understand that the country they live in is truly amazing. The attitude here is wonderful, the level of respect that people have. And there are always exceptions to the rule. I'm not suggesting it's all sunshine and rainbows, but it is, for me, far, far better than I was ever led to believe. Linda, yeah, indeed, great news indeed. Like I say, as I've said already on the live stream, it's something that the wife is digesting for me. The decree regarding taking the language test, or not needing to. So if that's the case, it will be massive news, not only for myself, but for an awful lot of people that want to come to this country, because they like the traditional values, mum and dad, family unit, respect for other people and their property, GMO food banned, certain ideologies, should we call them, banned, as being illegal terrorist ideologies, almost. That kind of thing is what I really love here. So I know a lot of people share that view. I can hear a helicopter, I think. Hopefully doesn't come over the house and give us too much noise. I think we're quite high up. Don't you think that England depraved itself of a good place of recreation, having joined the sanctions? England has been in decline for decades. I can remember starting work, one of my first places of work, the topic of conversation at tea break was, it's not what it used to be. We used to be able to do this and we can't anymore. And that was when I first started work, 35, 40 years ago. So I haven't seen anything improve in that time. I've just seen things get worse. I've seen waiting lists at the doctors get worse. Sorry, I'm going to spin you back round. Not looking at my pool anymore. You can stare at my ugly face. There you go. I've seen waiting lists at the doctors get bigger and bigger. I've seen the quality of care get worse and worse. I've seen the quality of the food get worse and worse. I've seen prices just go up and up and up, you know, not in keeping with inflation by any stretch. I've seen government laws and restrictions become worse and worse. I've seen communities broken apart because, you know, so many different races, creeds, colours, whatever you want to call it, are forced together without having any understanding of each other's cultures or any respect for each other's cultures, which naturally creates friction. I've seen crime rising. I've seen, you know, local services slashed. I've seen the state of the roads going down. I mean, I could sit here all day and tell you what I've seen over the last few decades, and yet politicians still try and pretend that England is this wonderful place and we're so lucky. It's not the case anymore. It may have been, but it's not. It's not today. It's not the case anymore. You know, it's a bit like the school bully. You know, if he's a fourth year student, for example, and you start school in the first year, he'll bully you. But he won't bully the fifth year students, and he won't bully the fourth year because they, you know, they grow up. And I think the rest of the world has grown up. I think the arrogance of the West has dominated and bullied a lot of countries over the years, and I think those countries are awakening. I think they're sick of being bullied. They're sick of you know, being pressurised and forced into more and more draconian laws and lifestyle. I think the worm is turning. Congratulations with Feast of the Transfiguration. Honey, what's Feast of the Transfiguration? Any idea?
Feast of what?
Transfiguration.
What is it?
I don't know. No? Okay.
No.
Thank you, Pilot Play. No idea what that is. Do you pay towards healthcare or is it all private? So I don't get any free healthcare because I'm not a Russian citizen. I don't have permanent residency or even temporary residency at the moment. So I'm just here on a visa. So I have to pay for any healthcare. That said, I've found it the quality of care far exceeds anything I've ever had in the UK. I came here needing surgery. I was on the path for another surgery. I had a surgery in 2012 on my throat, and I came here needing one surgery, possibly two surgeries. They were trying to combine two separate areas into one surgery, which was going to be fairly invasive, quite major. That's the path that I was on when I came to Russia, and having been here and having treatment, I no longer at the moment need surgery and haven't needed surgery. Yeah, for me, the healthcare here is fantastic, and the cost is absolutely negligible. I'm sure it's not for Russians, but for a Westerner coming here, it is I mean, I can have an MRI scan tomorrow if I want, and I did. We did that. We had an MRI scan and a tomography scan, on the same day, I think, or may have booked it the next day, I can't remember, and I think the cost was about £50, something around that, 5,000 rubles, I think, so probably less than £50. Blood tests, I think, are about £6. Bear with. Wife, what do I pay for a blood test? What do we pay for a blood test? What do I pay for a blood test, roughly?
Different tests.
Roughly?
Around £10 probably, I do not remember.
No, okay. I think it's about £6. I seem to recall 600-800 rubles for a blood test, and yeah, the quality of the healthcare here and the equipment and the knowledge, the staff. I mean, I've had so many blood tests here and in the UK. In the UK, Christ, it felt like they were using a scaffold pole that was blunt. In fact, the last blood test I think I had in the UK, I actually had to stop. She was obviously a retired nurse that had come back into the service because they were just desperate to get people in. And without trying to be too rude, she should have stayed retired, because she stuck the needle in my arm, and it was so painful, where she was waggling it around trying to find a vein, you know, in the sort of bit of my elbow in here. It was so painful that she'd already had 2 goes in the back of my hands, and then went into my arm, and I just said, I'm sorry, that's it, I'm done, you can't be doing this. She couldn't find a vein. She got very irate about it and said, fine, I shall put you down as refused blood test. I said, no, I'm not refusing the blood test, I'm just refusing it with you, because you can't find a vein. And it's, you know, I was trying to be tactful, but it's absolutely awful. Well, I can honestly say, every time I've had a blood test here, and I mean every time, and I've had a lot, I haven't felt a thing. I literally don't know they've done it. It's, you know, yeah, it's amazing. And, you know, is it the type of equipment they're using, or is it the fact that they know what they're doing? Combination of both, maybe? Don't know. We think of England as a background of many of our favourite English classical books, but it has changed dramatically, I believe. Absolutely, Tatiana. You know, classical English books have no bearing on England other than maybe some of the scenery. You know, maybe some of the images that you see in these books, depicted, you know, the castles, etc. Yeah, and as I said, if you go to England as a tourist, it will probably live up to everything that you want it to be if you're just going there as a tourist, because you'll go there as a tourist for a week or 2 weeks with, right, today we're going to go here, tomorrow we're going to go there, and you're going to go to all of these tourist things, and you're going to go, wow, cool, look at this castle, wow, look at this, look at that, look at this park, you know, you're going to do all that, the Buckingham Palaces, you know, the Oxford Street, the Regent Street, all of the tourist kind of stuff you're going to do, and you're going to think it's wonderful. But that's not real England, not anymore. You know, you go out into the suburbs and speak to English people, and even if you don't want to speak to them, just walk around the streets, see the rubbish everywhere, see the state of the roads, the state of the pavements. You know, in my seaside town that I came from, where it was block paved, you know, individual pavers all linked together, every time they repair it now, they dig it up, and rather than get pavers to make it nice again, they just fill it with tarmac. It's criminal, it's absolute carnage. You know, that's heritage of an English seaside town, and it's just destroyed. The pavements are absolutely destroyed. They've chopped a lot of the trees down but left the stumps. You know, the roots are digging. I could go on and on about the decline of the town. You know, my seaside resort that used to be lovely and clean, and, you know, somewhere that was a really nice place to go to, is now fast food restaurants and charity shops. That's pretty much it. Everything else has died. They tried to regenerate the town a few years ago and built a large new shopping centre there. It's been a bit of a flop, to be honest. A lot of the units, the retail units, are still empty, and it's not somewhere that people make a beeline for, other than locals, to go to a specific shop. Yeah, it's really sad. Back in the 1990s, I knew many people from all sorts of countries who wanted to visit England, and I suggested it was a good idea. Nowadays, I don't know anyone who wants to come, and I don't recommend. I mean, I've certainly had messages from people asking about England, and certainly I've met Russians that, you know, are blown away. You know, that I've come from England. You've come from England to Russia? Oh my God! You know, usually the first question they ask is, "Oh wow, Russia. So what do you think? You know, what's your version? You know, what's your view of Russia?" And they're always surprised when I say, yeah, it's wonderful and it's a lot better than England. They're very surprised about that. And I don't want to be putting England down all the time. It's not that I hate England. I didn't move to Russia because I hate England. I moved to Russia because I love Russia. So, but it's just annoying to me the way that the politicians have let the country slide into the state that it's in at the moment. It shouldn't be like that. And certainly for a seaside resort town that relies on tourism, it really, you know, my town shouldn't be in the condition it is. You know, all of these seaside towns shouldn't be in the condition they are. They rely on tourism, so they should be, you know, number one priority is that they're clean and safe. And they're neither. So, you know, that's for me is terrible, and it's really frustrating, and really quite sad. So I know I keep saying, oh, Russia's so much better than England, and I don't mean it to sound like that. but you have to call a spade sometimes. And certainly the people in power in the UK that have never been to Russia won't understand, and perhaps they should come to Russia. It might awaken them. You know, look at Tucker Carlson. He came to Russia and walked around with eyes this wide. You know, what on earth wasn't what he was expecting. And that's him. You know, that's a media guy that was only here for 5 minutes. You come for 3 weeks, it'll blow your mind. It'll change your life. Only way to get to a doctor now for me is waiting outside the door at 7:30 a.m. because it's a lottery. Call over 100 times. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're not telling me anything that I wouldn't agree with 100%. Yeah, that you know, people are just blown away by that when you tell them, you know, you have to ring and ring and ring. You ring at a certain time and it's permanently engaged, and you're number 37 in the queue, and you know, and it's weeks to see a doctor. It's just unheard of out here. You want to see a doctor, you see him the same day or the next day at the worst case scenario. There's none of this waiting weeks to see a doctor or having to take a phone call. I mean, the doctors here, we went to a GP surgery and he had a Bluetooth device in his ear, and he was taking calls whilst in surgery. So whilst he was seeing us, he was taking calls from patients. You had his direct phone number. I mean, can you imagine that in the UK? Can you imagine a doctor, whilst he's in surgery, just interrupting you for a minute and just taking a call? Yeah, but, you know, if he can take calls throughout the day as well as surgery and, you know, deal with a lot of stuff over the phone, ask people to call back, take their number, you know, anything. But, oh, no, in the UK, you've got no chance of that. Not a cat in hell's chance. They only release new appointments on Fridays. Oh my God. It's just insane, isn't it? It's absolutely insane. But you have to remember, Cool Pot, you're living in the best country in the world and you're so lucky to live there, and we've got the best healthcare in the world. No, we haven't. No, we haven't. Cool Pot, I always dreamt of England, but now I'm starting to doubt. Tatiana, I can promise you it's not the same country you read about. If you've read English classical literature, that's not England. That's just not. You know, visually it will be in certain places, but no. Right, it's a brats in. Yeah, I got no chance of reading that, I'm afraid. Pilot play. Religion celebration. Okay, religious celebration today. I'm sorry, I have no comprehension of that, because I have no comprehension of any religious celebrations, I'm afraid. Yeah, I think everybody has the right to follow a faith if they wish of their choosing. And I think we all find our own peace in our own way. And yeah, I think I don't think anybody should be under any kind of pressure to follow one particular faith or one particular god. You know, what's it? Something like over 3,000 known gods. I think Ricky Gervais actually said it quite well. You know, when he was talking about atheism, which you may or may not agree with. I don't know anything about it to disagree or agree, but when he was talking about it, and you know, I think he was talking to an interviewer who believed in, you know, a Christian God and there only being that one God. And as he said, well, you deny 2,999 gods, and I deny one more. So, yeah, I'm not on either side when it comes to faith and religion. I'm afraid I just do me. You know, I get up and I try to live a good life. I try to be a good person. I try to help people if I can, because it makes me feel good. It's a selfish thing, you know, and people should help people because it will lift your spirits. It makes you feel good. That's certainly how I try to live my life. And, you know, I've got a very simple motto: be nice to me and I'm nice to you. Are prescriptions a nominal charge, or do you buy the individual medicine for all the... no, ask as many questions as you want, Cool Pot. It's not a problem. That's what I'm here for. That's why I do these lives, for people to ask these questions. No, we just buy whatever we need. I don't... I think the wife, obviously being Russian, she gets prescriptions, I guess. but I honestly haven't asked that question, so I don't know. But certainly anything that the doctor has prescribed to me, we just buy, and it's, you know, it's pennies. It's not, you know, it's not like it's something that you should factor in as a cost. It's negligible. Same with taking your animals to the vets. You know, it's pennies. It's not something that you consider as a cost. This holiday is called Apple Salvation Among Ordinary People. Okay. So we had the Day of the Cherry recently, didn't we? So Apple Salvation Among Ordinary People. Okay, well I haven't got any apple trees, so I can't save any. The only thing that survives in England now is pound shops, charities and gambling. Yeah, and fast food. Fast food restaurant, you know, in my seaside town, it's fast food restaurants and charity shops. That's what it's turned into. Very sad to hear what's happened to England. Yeah, it is. It is. Why is it sad? Because it shouldn't be like that. It didn't need to be like that. This absolute crazed mentality of hate that England certainly has, and the way it tries to bring up its citizens to just be scared of the world and hate everyone. You know, keep everyone at arm's length, and we're an island and we must stay an island, and that's the strength of England. That's all horseshit. That's all going back 100 years. You know, missile technology has negated the fact that we're an island. Doesn't mean jack shit anymore. You know, in the days of the high seas and golden galleons, yeah, being an island was a big strategic advantage. Nowadays, means nothing. Absolutely nothing. But we still have that mentality, or rather, our governments do, and that level in society still think that that gives us some kind of strategic advantage. It doesn't. It really doesn't. Nobody's ever going to invade England. Not because, you know, they're scared and they can't conquer it or anything else. Because trust me, with armed forces of 70,000, England is a dot. A tiny dot. I'm sorry if you don't like the truth. Sorry if you don't want to hear it, but that's a fact. It is nothing in the grand scheme of things when it comes to a military force. So it isn't the fact that people are scared to invade England. It's the fact that they don't need to. You know, World War II and trying to cross the Channel doesn't need to happen anymore. You're talking 1 or 2 missiles. If push came to shove, you're talking 1 or 2 missiles and England goes. So where is there a need to invade? So what's the benefit of being an island? Nothing. There is no benefit of being an island anymore. It's a hindrance more than a help because people can't escape it. So it doesn't protect the country anymore. It's just it's a bit of a placebo, I think. 160 phones a day stolen in London, and cars don't even talk about it. Yeah. It is now nearly impossible to insure Range Rovers. Yeah, I've heard that. The crime is insane. Knife crime is insane. Yeah, I mean, again, I've seen this steadily increasing over the decades. You know, watch snatching, scooter gangs, oh, everything, you name it, you know. Yeah, it's not what it should be. There's no need for it. But the draconian laws, and it's all by design, let's face it. You know, England's up in arms at the moment about immigration. It's all by design. It's not a case that you're being told, oh, you know, there's nothing we can do about it, you know, human rights and European laws, and we can't do anything, we've got our hands tied behind the back. That's all crap. It's rubbish. It's absolute rubbish. It's by design, the same as it is in the US. You know, this border invasion that they keep going on about in the US is all by design. And you've got to ask yourself why. To what end? What's the purpose? Ain't a good one, is it? Immigrants influence the disorder in towns and cities of England. English used to be neat and accurate people. Yeah. I mean, England was, you know, engineering. It was about innovation. It was about inventing new technologies and all sorts of changes that benefited the world. What is it now? Manufacturing. It used to be big on. What is it now? What is England now? I don't know. I really don't know. What's so great about Great Britain now? Thank you for your hard work to keep us informed, Linda. Yeah, it's not hard work, is it? If this is hard work, I've had a very, very, very sheltered life. This isn't hard work. This is fun for me, talking to people, answering questions. Some people I've had messages from saying, just thank you for opening my eyes and showing me, you know. And I think that's a lot of the thing. We're very visual, so you know, you can read as much as you want and you can see as many glossy videos as you want, but having somebody that will actually live stream from their garden gives you an opportunity to ask a specific question and see something in real time, and I think that's what I'm trying to do. I think that does make a difference. So as I said, once again, if I'm just going to repeat it every now and again, if you just tuned in or you're looking at the channel on video, on playback, decree has been signed into law today in Russia regarding temporary residency and the need for taking a language test, where certain countries, residents of those countries, will not need to take the test. So the list of countries will be released soon. I believe it's the 1st of September, and we're still digesting the information at the moment, but potentially if you come in from certain countries wanting to emigrate to Russia, your biggest stumbling block, which is the language, will be negated. So huge news, absolutely massive news for Russia, and for an awful lot of people like myself. So yeah, like I say, still taking the information in at the moment. So yeah, so that was the purpose of the live stream. Come on, not my usual here's my swimming pool, here's my peach tree kind of thing. I do want to get out and do some videos. I haven't done any for a while, other than I've obviously just started with the terrace video. It's being dug up again. Oh no, but it is what it is. Got to just take these things on the chin and roll with them. The sauna build, obviously we're waiting now for the next stage. All the tiling is done. So I've shown a few people a sneak peek on the live stream, but I haven't actually done a video of the sauna with all the tiling done, because I'm going to wait until maybe the sauna door is fitted and the ceilings are in, lights are in, and then talk about that, you know, as part 4 of the sauna build. That will be coming at some point, I think, in the next week or so. I've still got to do the final part of From Grapes to Glass from Brau d'Urso. If you haven't watched that, I went to one of Russia's oldest wine and champagne regions, and I've done, you know, literally from the grape yards, you know, from the vineyards right the way through to the final part, which will be the retail shop. So yeah, check that out. Check those videos out by all means. As I said many times, feel free to ask me anything you want, either in the live stream or on Telegram, or send me an email. Whatever it is, there's no such thing as a stupid question. Don't be embarrassed to ask anything you like. I'm not going to respond and go, well, that's a stupid question, you should know. I'll answer it as best as I can. So please don't be embarrassed to ask anything you want to know, whether it's the cost of living, whether it's the quality of the food, whether it's questions about the weather. Obviously my location is different to most people seem to be in the Moscow region. I'm not. Some of you already know, if you're new to this stream, then I'm 60 miles along the coast from Crimea, on the coast of the Black Sea, just inland, in the wine and champagne region, across the water from Turkey. So yeah, lovely region we live in. Lots of fresh fruit and vegetables all around us, and we eat very well. Maybe you should better have your sauna lined with wood. We've gone the fully tiled route just for convenience. We are going to have obviously wood in it. All the benches will be wood. There'll be wooden backrests because nobody wants to be leaning up against a ceramic tile in a sauna, not unless you want 3rd-degree burns, of course. So there is going to be plenty of wood still, but the actual walls and floor are all tiled. It's easier to clean and maintain on over a long period of time, and it's the same with the actual heater itself. We've gone for an electric heater and controller just for the switch on and off ability of it. You know, there isn't any log burner to maintain, and I understand that's not the traditional the traditional thing here. You know, all our neighbours have got log burners in their saunas, you know, and they've got big buildings. We've got quite a small area in the back of the garage, but it's for us, it's our needs, it's what we wanted. So we haven't done it with a view to selling the house and trying to appeal to other people. We've done it for exactly what we want. So it will be lovely for us. We're really happy with the choices we've made, and looking forward to having the ability to be able to use it this winter. We've thoroughly enjoyed the swimming pool, and we're still enjoying the swimming pool every day. But obviously it's going to get to a point where the weather will be too cold to get in and out of the swimming pool, and hopefully the transition will be just about right and we'll start using the sauna. So made the house how we wanted it. We wanted our house to not just be a house with a roof over our heads. We wanted it to be a home somewhere where we wanted to spend our time, somewhere we enjoy being. Ooh. A few flying beasts with engines, not wings. Some might have wings. Yeah, wow. Yeah, I see all sorts. I just don't film it. So yeah, see lots of stuff in our region. Obviously, being 60 miles away from the Kerch Bridge, we're quite near, I suppose, to the conflict. But I won't film anything to do with it. I won't show anything militarily, whether it's land, sea or air, because as I've said before, I don't want anything that I film to be used in a negative way by anybody. So I don't do it. Without sauna, no Russian can survive. Yeah, it is really a thing out here. In the UK, it's not a thing at all. You know, some people might have a sauna. Some people do. You know, I know somebody that does have a sauna in their bedroom, for example, electric sauna. But it's just not a thing. It really isn't. It's not a common thing. Whereas out here, it's uncommon to not have a sauna. Even so much as the people can actually have these specific units and pods that they'll put in the back garden. You know, as like a little log cabin or a specific pod that can be picked up and dropped into the back garden. So yeah, much like we'll have a summer house or, you know, a little log cabin or something like that in our garden, out here you'll have a sauna. And just up the road from us there is a site that sells all different variety of shapes and sizes of banyas, as they're called out here. Log burners, you know, electric burners, all sorts, you name it, it's available, and it can just literally be picked up and dropped in your garden. So it's a very common thing, very common in Russia. So looks like I've called up with a chat, which is good news, and by the smell of it, I think dinner might be ready. So it smells quite nice. So I'm going to be leaving you all to go and tune into my dinner. Thanks for joining this live. Thanks for watching. Please share it around. Please like and subscribe. Please share the video I've done in relation to the new decree that's been signed in today by the President regarding temporary residency. Yeah, anything you want to know, or if you think that it might benefit somebody you do know, please share the channel. It's the most important thing to me, is that the channel is shared and the word gets out that that maybe, just maybe, Russia isn't the place that we are all led to believe it is. Anyway, once again, thanks for watching. It's been a long day, and as I always say, I'll see you in the next one.